listening to The Cube Cast.
All right, well, welcome back to the CubeCast with Christy and Tom and Luke Albrecht, bringer of light. Luke comes from Colorado. He's blown my mind for years. I've been a big fan. Bringer of light. So many people in our community just talk about you all the time. Like you've been looked up to so many times. So thank you for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Thanks for having me.
Being here.
So yeah, let's go for the you were talking with us earlier about the bringer of light, what that means to you. Like, where does that come from?
Yeah, so like, I don't know, maybe not everyone does this, but a lot of people look up their names to see what it means or whatever, because every name has a meaning. I did that and I was like, oh, it means bringer of light. That's cool, That's a good name.
Yeah.
Sounds
badass.
Took pride in that right away. I'm like, if my name means bringer of light, I want to be a bringer of light, I want to bring light to the world in whatever way, special way I can. And what also is cool about it is if you on Instagram, right, it's my handle. Is that the right word for it? It looks like flight, bring flight. And I like that too, because I'm flying around through the air. So bringer of light, bringer of flight, it's all good. I like it. So, yeah.
It's funny because my wife and I was going into it, looking up your profile. I'm like, flight? Bringer of flight? And bringer of light? No, I'm going to all the characteristics and your tattoo and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it's got to be of light. It's just got to be. It just
I thought it was a flight until right now.
Really? Oh, that's what's cool about it, right? That's what's cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's parkour. It's your perception of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So I perceived something different, and Tom got something out.
Flight.
That's what's good about it. And that's exactly what my movement represents. It's like I do it, and what you get out of it is what you get out of it. It's great. So even with the handle, some people see light right away, others see flight. That's perfect. Like what you get out of it is what you get out of it. So that's good.
Did you play any other sports in dance? Because your flow is, lack of a better word, gross. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. So sports, dabbled through school, right? Middle school, right. Basketball is a thing. I played basketball. I wasn't great, but it was fun, whatever. Too competitive for me though. And the coaches were too competitive, and I spent most of the time on the bench. So I was like, okay, basketball's not for me. When I was a really little kid, I played soccer, did okay. I did some track in high school. The only reason I did it was to pole vault. I wish I could have just pole vaulted and not had to run all those miles. And so it was so little. It was like you did such a little bit of pole vaulting compared to everything else. It was like, okay, it's not worth it. If I could just pole vault, that'd be great. I would do that, but no. I did grow up in gymnastics. I did gymnastics for most of my childhood. I'd say right around end of middle school, getting towards high school is when that stopped, because it's okay, you either make this your life and your career and everything that you do, or you look at getting a job, and if you have a job, you don't have time for something like gymnastics anymore, right? So that's what happened for me. And then but thankfully right at that same time is when parkour really started sliding in to my life. So that was perfect. It was a good transition. As far as my flow, I would also really attribute it to dance, because I did traditional Ukrainian dancing for pretty much most of my life.
Wow.
Even longer than gymnastics. I did it literally up until college. As long as I was living in Wisconsin near Milwaukee, I was doing Ukrainian dancing. Dnipro Ukrainian Dance Ensemble was the group that I danced with, and we performed and we did everything, and I loved it. Still do. Ukrainian dancing has a very special place in my heart. And of course, you learn rhythm and form and technique. And Ukrainian dancing, like Russian dancing, is super athletic. So it satisfied me in that regard. And yeah, it's very very ballet oriented, honestly. If you watch Ukrainian dancing, very ballet oriented. So there's just that smoothness and that flow and that light on your feetness that is a part of it. So I guess it did kind of translate its way into my movement for parkour in that regard of just flow and be light on my feet and look like I'm effortlessly doing everything. So yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. Like, I don't know if you've watched Arnold Schwarzenegger's Pumped. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the documentary.
Yeah, thanks. So when he's talking about, like, it's not just, posing, like he went to ballet to get actually like a nice, you can tell like there's something unique with your movement in general. And when I was like going through your profile, I was just like,
it's an art museum.
no, it was great. It totally is. Like, I don't know how many times my jaw hits the floor, but there's something different. And I was like, there's got to be dance or some kind of martial art, but there's no like, so like it has to be some sort of like dance. I'm so glad I asked because
I would say most people don't know that about me. Like, there's maybe 2 or 3 videos on my channel, like YouTube channel, from Ukrainian dancing, and that's obviously many years ago. But it doesn't come up that much. But so yeah, I'm glad you pulled that out.
Speaking of YouTube, you have a video. What was the last? Oh man, it was so good. I can't think of it right now because it was like 2 weeks ago I watched it. But I guess your last 3 videos.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But you have like one. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Latest one is a Path episode. The one before it is called
Days.
Oh my God, that's
something days, like rainy days or cloudy days.
Yeah, so that one, even on a cloudy day.
Yeah.
Yep, that was really good.
That one was, I have to say, your best.
Okay.
I watched it twice, so
cool.
Normally I don't watch things twice.
That's good.
I don't have I do have attention span, but whatever, it's not about me.
Yeah, I do like that video. It is a very me video. Just it fits with the music really well. It's the vibe of it is great, and like, yeah, I'd say it came together like really well. So good. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Everyone out there, check it out. Hope you enjoy it as well.
So you were in high school then when you started parkour?
Yeah, like literally right before it, like right after, like right in between 8th grade and high school. I was exposed to it. It's just someone told me to check it out. Bryce, his name was. He's like, hey, check out this parkour thing, and like, it was interesting because so I don't think it's like this anymore, but back then there was a definite kind of looking down on parkour from a gymnast perspective because it looked sloppy. It looked sloppy. Because parkour people, they didn't care like about form or whatever. They were just jumping around and doing flips, and like, to them they didn't the role obviously was important. Like, to me at first, I was like, why are they rolling like that? That's weird. Like, it looks awful. And then like, they would land and scramble away and all of that. So like, at first it was like, this just looks sloppy. Like, it looks like people trying to do stuff that they're not ready to do. And in all fairness, looking back at videos nowadays, that is exactly what was going on.
That's true.
Crazy people doing stuff that they were probably weren't quite ready to do or shouldn't have been doing. Like, so I was a little bit like, I don't know about this. But again, with gymnastics ending for me, still wanting to be active and loving to flip and do stuff, I was like, okay, let's try this out. So I grew up in like rural Wisconsin, so there were parks, and I kind of started just jumping around, and what I saw in videos, I'd be like, okay, that's a thing. I'm gonna go try to do that somewhere, and that's was the early years of parkour for me, until I finally met some other people that were doing it, and then everything changed. Like I would say like that's when my life started, was when I finally met others that did parkour. And they were way more immersed in it than I was. They knew a lot more. They were in the forums. They like knew teams and like people and athletes, and I'm like, okay, this is good. Like I'm gonna slide right into this community here. So
Right on.
So we must be talking about like way back, like 08, 09.
sooner,
Is that
2005,
Oh, really?
2006. Yeah, I would say
Wow.
08, 09 is when parkour started becoming like
A little more
popular.
popular, yeah.
Yeah. And that's when like jams and stuff were starting to really be a big thing too. Like jams that you like for lack of a better word, like pilgrimaged to. Like
Totally.
people, big thing to travel to a jam and be with all the people, So back then, yeah, the glory days.
Did you ever go on
Went to
trip like that?
the first jam that I went to was Madison, Wisconsin, 2009. It was a big national jam. Obviously, back then that didn't mean a lot because there weren't that many people doing parkour that or knew about it, So
Right.
it was mainly like Midwest people, Chicago, Minnesota, which was really cool because I'm like, oh, sick. There's communities in other places too, And then way, way long ago, there were APK, parkour, when it was kind of fresh and new. Went to I don't know if it was a Beast Coast. It was something. It was a jam or something. That was pretty big. The Chicago National Jams were big back then. Colossal Jams, they were called. Those were like the highlight, honestly, of the year. The Chicago Colossal Jam was the big one. At least in the Midwest. Again, like who knows what was going on over in California, and even at that time, like Denver, I know like Nat Jam was a thing and all of that. But yeah, for the Midwest, it was like Colossal Jam was it, man. That was the big one. So
That's wonderful to hear.
Oh.
A colossal jam, Tom.
Sounds awesome.
Oh,
some of those years, like I'd say 2011, 12, 13, 14, those were some of the biggest years for it. Like well over 100 people, like very big crowd showing up. So yeah, definitely good times, good times.
I think I've been at jam in Winnipeg when there's been 20, and that's blown my mind.
Sounds nice. It sounds like you'd get to move around a little bit more in a crowd of 20 people versus like 100. A lot
true.
of like kind of waiting your turn, and which is fine. It's really more just to hang out with people and meet new people and share experiences and all that. So
yeah, you're never gonna get like serious training done in a big jam.
yeah, and the people that do try to do that are almost a little annoying because they post their friends around to make sure no one goes on the obstacles they want to go on.
Really?
And of course it takes up like the majority of the area because they're going to do this big long line. So like everything's put on hold so this person can try to get this line, and they never get it first try. So there's that. I think that's getting better nowadays because jams are more of a thing, and like jam etiquette, so to speak, is everyone has a better sense of like a better way to be at a jam, I guess. So it was more of a thing back then but I don't blame them. New area, look at this amazing spot, I got to do something awesome here, so it's like,
oh yeah,
and the other people are pushing you, and it's new for everyone, so everyone wants to line up and hit it.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, got that hype going.
Do you have any other hobbies?
Hobbies. Okay, so my wife and I
shout out to your wife. She is awesome in parkour too.
Taylor.
Tell her, like, I love her movement, and I encourage her to keep on going.
Yes, that's great.
She's really, really good. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and she loves it too. She does. Like that's how we met, was through parkour. So, with grad school and everything, it's really didn't put it on hold because she'll still get out and train a little bit, but I know she wants to keep doing it. So, and facing that, like I used to be really good and now I don't train like once every 6 months, it's a little hard, but it, she, like I said, the love is still there and
Yeah, you can see it.
So,
But you were going to talk about your hobbies and her.
Yes, so we just started rock climbing recently, which we love. Oh, we're so addicted to it. Like we've already spent like over $1,000 getting all the equipment to climb and everything, and we're actually really excited because like it's finally spring, weather's getting nicer, we'll be able to get out. We I'd say we're both pretty beginners. But because of our backgrounds with parkour and movements and everything, like I'd say we had a strong foundation for sure, and I'd say we're progressing pretty well, pretty quickly. So, it's fun. It's like parkour all over again. Where it's like a new puzzle to solve, new challenges, just different package, right? So it's satisfying in that way. Nowadays, if I want to learn something new in parkour, I better be ready to do like a 2-step wall gainer full monkey down. I mean, who knows, right? So
yeah, keep on going. Exactly.
it's like sweet, attainable challenges. Here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, rock climbing, we're loving it. And I write music from time to time. It's very sporadic and very far and few in between. I think even the last song I wrote was already a couple of years ago. I really just wait until I get like super hit with inspiration. The kind of inspiration where it just nags at you until you do something about it. That's when my songs come out. That's when my music writing happens. And I'll just be a complete recluse for like a week. Like I'll barely even eat, like Taylor will come in and be like, you have to eat. I haven't seen you in 3 days. And I'm just like that. Once I'm doing something, it's all I can think about and do until it's done. Right. So, yeah, so I have a few of the songs I've written on my channel, my YouTube channel. I think they're in a playlist too, so you can like find them easily, but I'm pretty proud of them.
Neato.
What's your background with music then? Like, do you have school? It's like, did you go to school for music or?
I was big in band. Is Janet like fourth grade? Is when you can band is a thing at school, right? I jumped into that right away. Played saxophone, loved it. High school, I was in every single available band thing. So like marching band and concert, and wind ensemble and jazz ensemble, all of that. I loved it all. I played every saxophone there is, bari and tenor and alto and like that. And I also I was in MISO, which is the Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra in Milwaukee. So I played in that and performed for a few years. That was a lot of fun. But I don't know. So like, as far as writing music, composing it, because I compose music, right? It's not just guitar and lyrics. It's like tons of instruments and everything. My dad, he had a computer program called what was it called? Finale, I think. Where you could write music, and like instruments and stuff, and it was all very old school, like MIDI sounding instruments. But I played on that all the time, and I just wrote crazy stuff, and it got better and better and better until I was kind of writing what I would consider like decent stuff. And then Sibelius was like the next computer software program. That was like much more advanced than Finale. And then GarageBand, right? I got a laptop and GarageBand's a thing. I'm like, oh, sweet. I can actually like record now. So I kind of got into singing a little bit or trying to. And the instruments sounded so much better on GarageBand. So like most of the music I've written was just through GarageBand. But yeah, so who knows? I'm actually currently working on a song. It's I'm liking it so far. I'm still trying to really decide where to go with it. So who knows? That might come out soon or it might be a while, but yeah, maybe keep an eye out for that.
Damn, what a creative guy.
Yeah. Have you
There's
done?
there's more I'd like to do, but right, there's only so much time in a day, and I already have like 2 jobs, and it's like a wife and a dog, and
Yeah.
it's I've always wanted to be in martial arts. It's you said you do kung fu, I was like instantly intrigued because like I have been my whole life. But it's something's got to give.
Yeah, there's enough time in your life for everything.
Yeah,
It's just like how you compartmentalize everything. It's really tough to do this whole juggling thing, right? You only got 2 hands, right?
Yeah.
A tail would
not,
be nice.
not enough time in a day.
Video games too. Not ashamed to say that at all. I love video games. It's a great way to wind down when you're sore and tired and can't.
Oh
That's
yeah.
going out and training is like ugh.
I fell into a Zelda hole way back in the day with and it fried my brain, and I promised myself I'd never go back to that. And now there's this store video game coming out, is that right?
Yeah, the store video game, yeah.
And I think I'm just gonna dive back into it.
Oh, for sure.
Say goodbye to life.
Really hope that it's good. I really hope it's good because man, like, and knowing them, they'll do a good job with it. Like they're not gonna put out something crummy, you know. So I'm really excited about it too, actually.
I would say as if even with the current, state of video games, even if it's as good as like a PlayStation 1 Tony Hawk, I'll be happy.
That's what it needs to be. We need a Tony Hawk parkour game. That's all it needs to be. If they do that, it's gonna be amazing. Like it's gonna be great. So
I'm kind of scared.
It would be like once the store Parkour Pro 2 is out, that's when things would probably get crazy.
How dare you talk?
Well, every company needs a first game that's like the building block.
You can upload your own avatar, like you.
Yeah, right. It sounds like they're gonna include like famous spots all around the world too, so that'd be like really neat. You know, you can like vicariously like train at these places you've never been to that you would love to go to. So that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Oh no.
But it's the stories. It's the stories. I'm not a Fortnite, Rocket League person. I play video games to get away from people, so I'm not trying to play with people. I just good story to get sucked into that's like stimulating and like really cool and enjoyable and like so those are more like the games that I'd really like.
I could just probably nerd out with you for the next hour talking about video games.
Dude, totally. Totally. It's just a nice like hiatus from everything else, you know. It's like okay, cool.
Yeah.
Something to get sucked into for a while.
No, I totally enjoy it.
So.
Yeah. Well, you gotta disassociate somehow this nowadays, right? Like, if you fall into that kind of world, why not? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Over the last year, video games have served me very well.
I always joked. To people like if Skyrim, virtual reality Skyrim was a thing, you'll never see me again. And here it is. It's a thing now. VR. Skyrim. I am staying far away from that. I have not touched it, and I'm trying to stay away from it because like. Yeah, they just it wouldn't be good. So plus it needs to advance a little bit. Here it just makes everyone sick. So not trying myself either.
Just wait until we can control it with neural link.
Right? Yeah. Scary, man. Scary stuff that we're headed into.
Yeah.
You can just live in Matrix pods.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. With all the warnings from so many novels and movies, we're gonna run right into it no matter what. So we just can't help ourselves from advancing in every way possible. So
yeah, that's true. We can't stop.
Yeah, we can't stop until some crazy thing makes it all stop. So
some limit will be reached.
Yeah.
Or not. I keep thinking some limits are going to be reached in parkour, and it never happens.
Every day, man. Every day I watch videos, it's like, okay, well, I guess that's a thing now.
Yeah.
It's so funny, right? When people talk about watching my movements and being inspired and everything, it's like, well, I watch other people's videos, and I'm like, what have I been doing these last 15 years? Like, geez, I would never dream of doing that. I would never try to do that. That looks awful and terrifying. And it's like I get that feeling where I'm like, wow, I'm still a noob. Like the stuff people are doing these days, which is it's amazing to see. It really is. Well, and it's like it's all people that are young and have only trained to like 4 or 5 years. Like what the heck, you know? Like
I know, right?
geez, like
Yeah.
It's
took
it's
me forever to just learn the simple A twist or whatever, and
oh
nowadays
man.
like that's not even like why would I learn that? That's
No,
too simple.
When you have the benefits of a coach, like you didn't really have anyone teaching you, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, same. Like I didn't have anyone showing me how to do things. It's just a group of us, kind of
An error constantly.
basically trial and error, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So now,
Into the softest patch of grass you could find.
yeah.
If a gym.
Yeah, I was pretty lucky to have a gym, but kids now they're just their base level, their standard is so
know.
beyond
I know.
like what it used to be.
Yeah.
Just
What
the
is-
craziest things are normal.
It's amazing. And we're talking like 10 years here, right? Like how far it has progressed and advanced since the days of like the Yamakaze, right? Like yeah, it's so cool. It's like, gosh, another 5 years, another 10 years. Well, what on earth are we going to be looking at? You know, like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
And it's not even to take anything away from like the previous generations. Like Yamakaze, those guys, like, yeah, looking back, their technique was not anywhere close as good as
They
it
were so
is now.
hard.
Like, but
Those drops they were taking and stuff. It's like I'm not gonna go out and do that. No way.
yeah, okay, the drops, that's one thing they definitely have, but
But they had to
you
inspire
know,
somebody to go
yeah,
further and push, and that's what this sport is all about, really. Is like, oh, awesome! I'm gonna push this way and add that and blah blah blah, and
they're the giants
yeah.
whose shoulders everyone is
There
standing
you
on,
go.
right?
That's a nice way to say it. Yes.
Yeah, that's yep. And
Mhm.
successfully too, right? Parkour is only growing and spreading, so like they really started something. They really did. So as far as parkour as like a discipline that you train. So yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Luke, I got
that's
a question for you. Do you find people recognize the word parkour when you talk to them, or free running?
Ooh, I would say most people nowadays do they you say parkour and they know it they pretend or maybe they pretend to know. They're like, oh yeah, okay, you know.
Yeah, they do.
There's an
Yeah.
occasional person where I say parkour and they're like, wait, what? Like I didn't hear you. And I'm like, yeah, it's a French word. That's why it sounds weird. But most people, honestly, I have not used free running in a long time, long time. Not since like maybe like 2014, 15. Like I think everything has just come together under the title of parkour.
Cool.
'Cause back then, the dichotomy between the two was so important and big.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is free running, this is parkour. There can't be a mix, no. But now it's like everyone's over it, and thankfully, because like it was pointless. But everyone's over it, and everything now is just parkour. Obviously, I mean, tricking is tricking. But like even today, there's such a mix between like tricking and parkour. It's like definitely a new style that's emerging. You see a lot of like tricking moves thrown into like free running lines, you know. So it's
Mhm.
so I've just said parkour for a long time, and most people know, yeah, are like, oh yeah, parkour, and you know. So what their perspective of parkour is like, who knows? Because like, what is their exposure to it? You know, is it YouTube? Is it other stuff? Like I don't know. Like what the average Muggle, what have they seen to make them be like, oh yeah, parkour? I know what that is. You know, I'm curious. I really
right.
am.
Just maybe it just brings up images of people running on rooftops or something.
Tom
I'd
said
say
it
so.
for
Like
me.
jumping
Yeah.
across roofs and stuff. That's probably what most
Yeah.
people think. I mean,
Or
Storer has managed to be the most like Muggle friendly parkour team or group out there. So like, I think most people would think of like kind of what Store is doing as what parkour is, so
I hope so.
yeah.
I feel like they're, just such good ambassadors really for parkour.
Yeah.
So will parkour like get the boost that I would like to see, or I'm sure everyone else would like to see after like this video game gets released?
That's such a cool topic. I think it will have an impact. I do. If it does show parkour in an accessible way, then people, like, and if it's Store, right? Like I said, Store is super muggle friendly. Most people that don't do parkour, that are like most of their following is people that aren't parkour people, right? Like they have like over 1 million subscribers and whatever, and most of those people are normal people, that like watching their content, right? So like if a video game that is specifically parkour, right? Because we've had it, Dying Light and Mirror's Edge and all that, right? It's parkour, but it's like there's a lot more going on. But if this game is specifically parkour and it's like a Tony Hawk style, I think people are gonna be like, whoa, it's gonna seem more accessible, Because like what did we just say? Parkour, oh, jumping across roofs and stuff. The average person is gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna do that, or how do I get into that, right? But if we see in this game, precision, and if you have to actually like build up, start from the beginning and build your character up and get capable, I think people will be like, oh, parkour seems really cool. I'll give it a try. I'll go out and do it. So I think if the game is really successful outside of the parkour world, because it will be successful in the parkour world, but if it's successful outside of it, I think we will see a nice influx of people coming into it. And then the the Olympics and all that, because right, it's I know it's like being reviewed for possibly being in the Olympics and all that, and so we might be seeing that soon, who knows. But yeah, I think it's only going to keep growing. I can't see it diminishing to nothing, like the fact that you can type up Mongolian parkour and get videos.
Yeah.
All right.
It really has spread around the entire globe, I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
I think it'll keep growing. It'll keep growing. It doesn't. You just need yourself. You need yourself and the world. So like, it doesn't cost anything really. I mean, you could go into a discussion about that, but for the most part, to go out and do parkour, you don't need anything. You just need yourself. So, I think I can't see it going away ever. It'll never go away. It'll just keep growing. So.
Tom, Luke sounds like me, hey. Buy some shirts. But it's like all you need is a pair of shoes and a mind to be practical and be safe and go from A to B and have some fun between.
Yep.
Yeah. So you teach as well too, right? Is it at where is this gym that you teach at?
So the gym I teach at, it's called Path Movement. It's in Littleton, Colorado here. It's fantastic. It's so 7, I want to say like 7, 8 years old, maybe. I came into the scene when I moved from Chicago to Denver. It had been around for, I want to say like 2 years or a year and a half, maybe. So, but yeah, I came in as a coach. Well, I actually was doing like countertop restoration stuff, because like you get on your feet when you move somewhere new and just grabbed what I could. But we went there for an open gym and we're moving around, and obviously I'd been doing parkour for a while at that point. So like the owner was like, hey, you seem like you're moving around really well and all that. Plus I'd been coaching for so long. Like I've been coaching since like 2012, places in Wisconsin, and then Chicago. I helped start Flipside Academy of Movement, and I coached there. So here is and that's actually, that was the thing too. I didn't want to come here and be like, hey, take me as a coach. Like I wanted to, I guess I I wanted to have a more of a humble mindset in that, like, you know, if someone wants me to coach, then I will, but I wasn't gonna like impose myself anywhere. Like I could have headed straight for Apex, you know, I could have, but I don't know. If the like, yeah, that's what happened, right? We were there for an open gym. He was like, "Hey, would you be interested in coaching?" And I was like, "Yes, I would. I would like to do that." So
Good for
yeah,
you.
been coaching ever since. Great gym. I love it. I love that it is all modular, and everything can and does move around, and every week we change the setup. I think that
Wow.
is so important, and we have like big obstacles too, right? Like we need
Mhm.
pallet, but I think that is so important to what parkour is, because like parkour is so much about exploration, and there's a whole world out there, and everywhere you go is different, and so I love the idea of changing the setup so that like when you come in, it is new, it's fresh. It kind of keeps like staple challenges from being a thing, which it's a two-sided coin. It's cool that, you know, gyms have staple challenges, but then it's also can be very intimidating to anyone else. There's that mindset of like, oh, unless you can do these, you're kind of a nobody, you know, or like I've seen it. I've seen it here and there. I'm not gonna, but it is a thing. It is a thing. I think everyone can agree with me that it can lead to like kind of a elitist culture,
Sure.
potentially.
Yeah.
So our gym, that's not possible because it's different every week. So like,
Good.
there's no elitist culture, because everyone has to come in and adapt to it fresh and new every time. So I really like that. I really appreciate that. And then just, yeah, if you go outside training, anywhere you go is going to be different from wherever you were last. So it's like keeps that childlike wonder and explorativeness a thing, which for me has been at the heart of parkour and one of the biggest facets of it that keeps me going. So I like working at a gym that emulates that for some.
Yeah, I noticed that in your videos. Like, it's totally modular, like you said. Everything's moved, even the warped walls moved.
Yep.
In that you got really good concepts going on there. So good job on you for making the setups.
Yeah, it keeps you
Yep.
going too, because like
Mm-hmm.
everyone it I would say like my line building is what it is because of a modular gym, you know, and it's always changing. So like you don't really uh you know, some people go to a spot over and over and over again, and they hit that point where they're like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Tom.
in the
You
spot.
definitely stagnate. Like
Yeah, you stagnate, right? So like
outdoor spots that you just get stuck.
yeah, and you can't, yeah, you really struggle to like, or you know, you can see stuff, but it's beyond your ability, you know, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
yeah,
me. Yeah,
that
sometimes.
Yeah.
plateau of like
In
hit
between.
that creative plateau and that training plateau. So I'd say like working in a modular gym that is always changing has really helped my just continued creative process and like line building, and like stimulation of new environments. And so I really appreciate that. I think it's very important. I think all gyms, obviously not every gym can be fully modular, and there are a lot of incredible gyms out there, but I do think every gym should have some sort of
Right.
modular aspects, like parts that can move and change so that it's, you know, not always the same thing, so that it can change enough that it feels a little fresh and new every time. I think that is important, um, for a parkour gym.
Do you like to, or do you guys run competitions there?
We do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID really
Right.
threw that all out the window, but
Yeah.
we were doing like quarterly competitions, and it was a lot of fun. Um, we did some like creative ones too. So that there's obviously the main, like, you know, skill, style type thing, speed, right?
Mm.
But we did some interesting stuff too, where one of the competitions we did the setup so that no one knew what it was at all. Like no one was allowed in at all. Everyone had to stay out in the lobby area, and we did this like floor is lava A to B competition where when it's your turn, we open the door, the lights go on, and you have to go. And you don't know what the setup is, but you have to adapt. Like as
Love
you're
it.
trying to get to
That
point
is
A, you have to
so
adapt.
awesome.
Dude,
Wow.
the true heart and spirit of parkour right there. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And so that was super fun, right? That was really, really neat. And yeah, I think I think parkour gyms should explore different kinds of like competition formats, you know, because there is, like I said, there's skill, there's style, there's speed. That seems to be the thing that is happening everywhere, and it seems to be like the only things that are happening everywhere. But if we can get a little more creative with our competitions, you know, because just because it's not a speed competition doesn't mean it's not a valid parkour competition, right? Or just because it's not a style competition doesn't mean it's not a valid parkour competition, right? Like I think we could really come up with some neat ideas for competitions that would be really fun and fresh and new for people, and still very challenging and really shows your abilities as an athlete. So with COVID kind of wrapping up, so to speak, you know, vaccines and everything, hopefully we'll be able to start looking at getting on competition soon. We'll see. Who knows? Like obviously our building still has like a max capacity limit. It's gone up a little bit here and there. But hopefully soon, you know, hopefully soon. It's fun. It's fun for the coaches to see the students really shine in that way, you know, actually, because, you know, when you teach, you're kind of the controlling everything, you know, you're coming up with the challenges, the lines, what they do, what they're working on, right? So the competitions offer a clean slate for the students where like they have to come up with everything themselves and they have to put their lines together, and if it's a speed comp they have to figure it out what's the most effective for them, you know. So I like seeing that as a coach, and I like those opportunities for the students to get challenged in that way. So
actual practical use of their skills they've been working on.
yeah,
Do
really
your
themselves, right? Because as a student you are doing it for yourself, but ultimately, like if you are going to class and you have a coach, you are doing, there is a portion of you that's doing it for them, you know, for your coach, maybe for your peers, whatever, right? But in a competition, it's really for you.
right.
It has to be. So it's cool. It's good.
Do you find that your students show up at jams?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. I like to hear that.
Honestly, I think most people, most parkour gyms can agree to this, but most students are kids.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. It would be great if you know, more adults. I think it's just because parkour is still like fresh, like it's still new. And like I said, people think parkour, oh, it's jumping across roofs, right? So it's like it's really hard to convince adults that parkour is for them. It is getting better, and I really hope for a future where there's as many adult participants as there are kids, right? But it is really good that kids are doing it because that's so important for their development in every way, mental and physical. And you could spend hours talking about that easily. So really good, really good. So I think it's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone as they age should know how to fall properly,
Yeah.
right? And if they can jump or get out of the way faster or just move a little bit more limber, you know, like even have fun as they sit down on a park bench and move around. So like they, you know, can always be ready for whatever. But no, I'd really encourage. You sound like me, Luke. I really my ulterior motive is to get everyone doing parkour, like everyone I meet.
When you were talking about like just kind of moving around with a bench, do you know Parkour Dance Company? Maybe so that back in the day, okay, you're when we're done here, you're gonna look this up and you're gonna be crying the rest of the night. Parkour Dance Company, maybe they're not a thing anymore. I don't know. I think they are, but their whole thing was parkour for elderly people, right? And so they have a ton of videos that are absolutely beautiful, like total
Really?
tearjerkers. Yep, of elderly people doing exactly what you said, kind of playing around with the bench, trying to move.
Tom's looking it up.
Oh, it is so beautiful. You will cry. You will cry watching these videos. They're incredible. There's one where it's a little boy. It's back and forth between a little boy and an old man. It's the same person, right? It's him as a child. It's him as an old person. As a little boy at the playground playing around doing parkour, right? And then him as an elderly man still trying to still moving around and playing around and just the love of movement there, right? Like talking about it, it's enough to like even start choking me up a little bit. But you must look up these videos and watch them.
That's
They're
awesome.
incredible.
It looks like their last videos from 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's
We're gonna have to
they need
popularize this and
some-
bring it back.
They need
Let's
some
do it.
into them again. What they were doing was phenomenal and so important and amazing. So, but yeah, watch those videos. Really do. They're insane. They're amazing. So,
I'm glad
Yeah.
you agree with that. That's awesome.
I'll have to include this in the description for everyone listening.
Please do, Tom. There's a movement out there called PK Move. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like PK Silver. They kind of Nazi
I know
somebody.
PK Silver for sure.
Yeah. So I've tried to get lots of people my age or older to watch that so they can have like a lot of encouragement. I don't know if they do it, but I always throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's a hard message to get across
Oh,
that
it's very
parkour is not an
It's-
extreme sport. You know?
Yeah, I feel like that's the first thing when I'm trying to get someone interested in parkour, like one of the first things I say is parkour is what you make it, you know? It doesn't have to look a certain way, it doesn't have to be a certain way. It's what you make it, you know, it's your path, your journey. Like it's fulfilling and satisfying to you is legit parkour, you know? Like
Yeah.
yeah, I am can't tell you how many times I've told people that it's what you make it. It's what you make it. So many times, broken
It's
record there.
The double-edged sword of parkour in the media, like it draws people in, but then it gives them these,
Realistic
false ideas of
yeah.
it.
The media doing that? No.
Yeah, what? Media would never.
It's not Red Bull every day.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Oh my god.
What?
So-
Your training's not like that?
Yeah, that media is another thing that could just take hours and hours to talk about, right? It's like the most amoral thing in existence, right? Because obviously we owe YouTube and media like so much.
Agreed.
It's what allowed parkour to spread across the entire world.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
why you can look up Indonesian parkour and there it is, right? So it's so important and huge for parkour and most things, right? But then it can be so destructive and so devastating and so hurtful. Oh, it's like it's such a monster, you know, that exists to navigate and handle, you know. But like I said, hours it could go on for hours about media and parkour.
Overall, I feel like the parkour community on social media is a very positive one.
Agreed too, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can hear a lot of other, or I guess happens to other people in other sports where you get torn down a lot, but I feel like I never see that unless YouTube's just filtering out the bad comments or what.
Yeah.
But everyone's I feel like very positive, very supportive.
Encouraging, yeah.
That's the community for you. That's why parkour was so attractive from the get-go too, is I felt like the relationships were from the get-go super authentic, you know,
Yeah.
super sincere. And it makes sense. I tell people this all the times, like in parkour, you can't fake anything, right? Either you can do the jump or you can't. There's no faking it. So if you are about parkour and parkour's in your life, and you care about it, it's like most likely gonna cause you to be a sincere and authentic person too, because like in parkour you have to function that way. And it stands to reason that it would develop in your own personality as well. So like, and it's true. Like pretty much everyone I've trained with or that I've met
Yes.
as parkour, very sincere person, very authentic. You even after a day of training, you're like, man, I feel like we've been friends for years, you know? So I love
Love
Yeah.
that feeling.
that aspect of the parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
It's something. Everyone's on the same wavelength or something, right?
it's
Like,
awesome. Whatever hurts it is, it's great.
yeah.
Let me tell you something, there, Luke. What you said about like parkour, like, I'm just gonna out myself, but I deal with some PTSD sometimes, but I find parkour helps me get over
Okay.
certain challenges mentally and physically. So when I do have my moments, I think of it in parkour. I'm like, okay, it's just now. So how would I approach this in parkour? So I would
Sure.
do this, that, and the other, not to go full expression and hurt myself kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to take careful steps to get to this, that, and the other. Hey, here I am. Right on. Way to go. You went through this one. Okay. Next time this comes up, you can
Yeah.
vault free. You can get over the next thing, you
Yeah.
can lache, whatever. And that's how I use it.
So
in
being
my
able to like break things down and like rationally work through everything and succeed has been like monumental for you. Yeah.
Instead of going right to the extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all trying to be in our intellect mind or in our really reptilian brains sometimes, and sometimes we're like in the fight or flight kind of thing, and you can like, okay, just take some like nose breathing, calm it down. Okay, okay, how are you gonna approach this? Left, right, okay, and then you're gonna like place your hands up because you're gonna grab that bar. Okay, here's the lache, and what happens? Oh, you attack, you do this, da that, da that. So you kind of like go through it, so you kind of bring yourself back to here instead of like,
Yeah.
get away. Yeah. So that's how I use that. Thanks for everyone for listening.
No, yeah. That you're describing exactly what it's that like being in the moment, being in the present.
Mm-hmm.
Out of everything I've ever done in my life, nothing forces that like parkour.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I go out and train, I am so present. I'm there, and I can't even think about other things, even if I want to. Like I try, and I can't. It's like it really forces you to be just in the moment and like focused and like in the present, and I love that. And then yeah, the whole flow state thing and everything. Like I'm sure that you experience that, and that is helpful for you. So. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
all of us,
All of us. Yeah.
as a human being, there's like extremes of like euphoria, right? There's like extremes of euphoria that like that's like the ultimate thing to reach and experience, and like we can't get past it. Like there's no way to get past these extremes of euphoria. And I would say that the flow state and experiencing it and being in it is one of those extreme euphorias that humankind that we can attain, that we can reach. And like beyond it is not possible in this reality yet, like
Yeah.
Wow.
one of those euphorias that we can reach that is insane and amazing and is addictive. So
Yeah.
You know what? Tom knows how happy I am right now because I could see this could go really deep in a different conversation. I could see us like being on the same wavelength and then like just linking up different things. Like
yeah,
seriously, yeah, absolutely. In this dimension, this is what's possible, and there is a limit, and we try and hit that. And sometimes we succeed, but then that's that dopamine, good adrenaline, and we want to do it again intentionally. Like
yeah.
we intentionally go out there to do it,
Mhm.
thoughtfully, mindfully, right?
Yeah, yep.
No, I get it. I get it. That's why I'm so addicted to
I
it.
mean, yeah, and it keeps you pushing, like, because then you're like, oh, okay, now I can do this, and I can do it again and again. Okay, I gotta move on something bigger now.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Move on to a different line, move on to this and that,
And just
change it
having
up.
to adapt to yourself too, because like you're not your best every day. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
not every day can you go and do that big crazy jump or move. So like on days where you're less it's like you have to adapt to yourself. And like I think that's another reason why parkour still entices me is it's because even though I'm not my best right now, I'm really sore, I'm tired, I'm not feeling great, whatever, there's still so much I can do, and I just have to find it. I just have to find it, and I just have to apprehend it. And sure, it's a very mediocre clip or a mundane thing, but it's what I could do in that moment. It's what I was able to do. It's what I found to do, and I did it. So like even when you're not at your best, parkour is still so satisfying because you are you're doing it. You're doing what you imagined and what you saw and what you saw to be attainable, and you did it. So it's like that's a huge part of what keeps me going in parkour, I'd say. And it's why you can be 80 years old and still doing parkour, because it's like, yeah, they can't do a double cork maybe some 80-year-old out there can, I don't know, but they can't, but there's still so much to do, and still even at 80 years old you can still progress in parkour physically, mentally. Like it's like they're when your body just can't do anything anymore, there's still ways to progress in parkour. It's like there's new ways to be creative, there's new ways to see the world around you, your environment, there's new ways to interact. So it's like there's no end. There really isn't an end.
What a sage.
Yeah. The ultimate one right there.
Wow. I had to stop myself from getting in on that conversation. Like I just had to put my mouth over my hand over my mouth. I'm like, I just want to jump in. This is great.
Concrete questions to answer.
Oh, wow, deep.
Yeah.
I know you've said this in another episode, Christy, but it's just going to be so funny to see what the current, generation of people in like 40, 50 years, like what that is going to be like. I hope to be, I'm still going to be moving around, man. I'm still.
Yeah.
Hey, me too. I want to be one of those people. I want to be, because we've seen it. There's already athletes that were huge names that what happened to them? Where are they? There's a lot of athletes that have dropped out, that are gone.
Yeah.
Like they don't do parkour anymore. Levi Muhlenberg. You could say it for Daniel Ilbaka, right? Like these huge monsters and powerhouses of their day that just don't do it anymore. And sometimes it's their choice, and it's totally, I totally respect that. It's all good. Other times it's because of injuries or whatever, and it's like, but I want to be one of those people where, like you said, 40 years from now, like he's still doing it, he's still doing it, and it doesn't look like what it did 20 years ago, but he's still doing it. So that's so important to me. I want to be one of those people, and there it's going to be a lot of work. Like every part of your life has to reflect that passion, that want. You have to sleep, and you have to eat, and you have to take care of yourself, and and as you get older, those patterns and routines are going to change. They're going to have to, and you're going to have to be diligent about it. I'm lucky that I have Taylor as a wife. She's a doctor, she's an acupuncturist and herbologist. And so like, I have that huge support, from her in as far as like what I should be doing. Which is, I wouldn't trade anything for the world. Without her, I wouldn't be lost, but I would like not know what I'm doing.
It sounds like you two are my people. Like the whole thing that you're saying there, I'm like, this is wonderful. I'm so glad we're connecting. This is great. We'll be right back to the CubeCast after this fat lazy pre. Have you ever been outdoor training and someone yells, "Be careful," or "Don't hurt yourself"? By the raise of hands, I can tell this has happened to you. With the Sage Movement clothing line, this will never happen again. Quite the opposite starts happening. But don't take my word for it. Be twist over to sagemovement.net and get your streetwear. Use the promo code CubeCast10 and get 10% off your order. Speaking about like herbologists and acupuncture, is that how you deal with your injuries? Like I remember when I think after a while I started following you, you had a boot. Something happened to
Yeah.
your
Oh gosh, you want me to get into that, huh?
well, and then I don't know. You can yes, please.
A little bit.
And then
I'll
like how did that help with your injury? Did you do other stuff for that? Did
yes.
you do physio?
She's a huge piece of that puzzle for sure. So yes, I was doing giants. If you don't know what giants are, it's when you're
Mhm,
on a
mhm.
bar, all the you cast up to a handstand, you swing all the way around. That's a giant, right? So I was doing giants. I was going to do 5 sets of 5 giants, and I got to the 5th giant of the 5th set, and that's when the universe decided I should peel off and go flying until I hit something, which I did 12 feet away. Thankfully, feet first, somehow miraculously, but it was enough to create a compound fracture. My entire tibia head was sticking outside of my ankle. My foot was just hanging on by flesh, really. So yeah, that happened when it's ER surgery, all of that. Um, but yes, um, thanks to Taylor, I had Chinese herbs and ointments and all kinds of stuff to be putting on it every day. And then when we, not right away, but when it was time to, definitely started doing some acupuncture and gua sha and stuff like that to help it heal.
Hold on, what's gua sha?
So it's like a jade stone piece. It's smooth, but it really helps break up like scar tissue and all that kind of stuff and fascia work and everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. Look into it. It's really good. A lot of people do it for to stay young, right? They gua sha a lot of face stuff, right? But I attribute my quick healing. Number one, I obviously had an absolutely amazing surgeon. I did, because like here I am as if nothing ever happened, right?
Yeah.
Right
So
on.
my surgeon, top notch, absolutely incredible, amazing person. I was so blessed and fortunate. And then number two, Taylor, the Chinese herbs, all that good stuff, all that care. Um, I uh I think I recovered in like 4 months. I was back on moving around
Wow.
like 4 months. It happened in September, and by Christmas I was jumping around again.
What?
Yeah, which something like that is supposed to take at least 6 months or whatever, right?
Even some people probably years. Like,
Yeah, super.
So
Um,
you're obviously like a super person.
Well, like I said, I've been blessed. Like I had Taylor, I have the surgeon. All I did was I did what I was supposed to do, and I kept a good mindset. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else. I did what they told me to do. I did what I was supposed to do, and I had a good, positive mindset the whole time. That's all I did. So, which not to discredit it, because like obviously that's huge in recovery, healing, keeping a good mindset, accepting it.
Right,
I posted I posted a picture of it and said on to my next journey, like from the get-go. I just have that personality where stuff doesn't bum me out. It's probably because of parkour, right? You have to adapt. Whatever happens, whatever you're faced with, what you're looking at, how are you going to make it work? How are you going to take care of yourself through it and satisfy your needs and wants, right? So like I've had that personality and that mindset of like, I'm going to do my best no matter what. And a big part of that is keeping a positive mindset no matter what. So that's all I did. That's all I did.
that's wicked. A lot of people would really get down on that, down on themselves
Yeah.
and
And it makes sense because parkour, right? If you aren't training, you're losing progress. There is that strong militaristic mindset of parkour
True.
from the very beginning of like train, progress, keep growing. And like if you feel like you're not doing that, you feel like you're failing at parkour. So it's like I don't blame anyone that gets down and bummed out and even depressed, because like I get it. I do. I really do get it. If anything, it just speaks to their passion for the sport. If they're like bummed out because they can't move anymore, well, yeah, you should be. So
yeah.
yeah. But I was fully prepared. I was fully prepared to be a one-legged parkour person.
Oh,
Like
come on.
if they couldn't put my foot back on, or I couldn't use it, I was ready to be, all right, I'm doing parkour with one leg, And I have some videos. Of me doing parkour in a boot. Yeah, it's like I just again adapted, right? I adapted, I embraced, and I'm gonna be the best me no matter what, So
Okay, let me talk to you about that. So I've always been interested. People laugh at me a little bit, but para parkour. What do you think about that?
I think it's so cool.
Thank you.
It obviously, if be safe,
Well,
safe,
yes, of course.
but
Yes, adapt.
but
Yes, be safe. Yeah.
yeah, if you are finding a way to do it and to move, and it's making you happy and it's fulfilling you and it brings joy into your life, do it. Way long ago, I'm struggling to even remember like who posted it, but there was a kid in like Mexico or something, or maybe it was Spain. I know, I think it's like South America somewhere. One had a prosthetic leg, and he does parkour and he jumps around, and he obviously doesn't do it with the prosthetic leg. When he does parkour, it's with one leg, but there he is doing cash vaults and cat leaps and everything. This was a long time ago. This video, it was 2010 maybe or something. It was amazing, right? And ever since then, I've just been so for everyone trying to do parkour in some way or another, right? And if you are, obviously, whatever your situation is, your condition is, like, try. There should be a way that you can move. And if you are, hey, guess what? You're doing parkour. Good job. Like,
Yeah.
if you are moving, you're doing parkour. So I think it's a good way for people that have disabilities or paraplegics and stuff. I think it's a great way to validate themselves. It's like, I can do this. This is supposed to be for perfectly healthy young white males, right? Like, but here I am and I'm doing it, So like, I think it's so good, and we need to see more of it. Gosh, there's a what is his Instagram handle? There's let me look real quick because it's really important. Everyone should know about this athlete.
I'm gonna write it down.
Instagram biggest. He's in the UK. He trains with all the UK guys. Gosh, dang it! I am so bad at like remembering people's Instagram handles.
Oh yeah,
Gosh.
little parkour Hulk.
Little Parkour Hulk.
Yeah.
Parkour Hulk. Yeah, yes, that is him.
Parkour athlete with the goal to
That
show
is him.
society what handicapped
him.
people are able to do.
Yes.
Oh, from
Everyone,
Germany.
right now, go follow him. He's amazing.
Say it
He's
again.
a great. Little Parkour Hulk is his Instagram handle. Ehab Yasin. Yeah, he's incredible, and he's a great torchbearer for people, of like, yeah, you can do parkour,
Right on. Thanks for
Yep.
that. I've always wanted other people's input on that, and I just think it's a real appreciate kind of like demographic right now.
Yes.
And
It's so good. I mean, again, talk for hours about the benefits of parkour mentally. So anyone can benefit in that regard, right? If again, paraplegic or disability some way, like, you can mentally benefit from parkour just as much as anyone else easily, and like, yeah, if you can physically do it to whatever degree you can, and that's satisfying and fulfilling, like, perfect. But mentally is really where it's at. I think that's why we all can connect the way we do, is because we face those same mental processes, and we face the same challenges and the same thoughts and the same feelings and experiences, so we can relate so easily. And like, that's why you can train with someone and like, yeah, I've known you for years,
I love that feeling.
Yeah, it's not about anyone being better than anyone else. It's the like achieving that mastery just over your own abilities.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the amazing part. That's what I think other people like to see too, you know.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. All right. Next question. This is fun. Questions.
I know
Well,
go ahead, Tom.
how about stuff you're working on right now? Is there any like current goals you have in mind or projects or something you're working on?
Yes. All right.
Mm.
Project wise, I live in Colorado, right? There's mountain towns. There's, like I said, you go 3 hours west and it's an entirely different world. Like, is this Colorado? Yeah, like, it's not the Colorado I know, right? But so there's all these mountain towns everywhere. And I can like 99% say that like none of these have ever been touched by parkour or have seen parkour, right? But they're a town, they're, so like clearly there's parkour to be done, so I would
Yeah.
love to create like a series where me, a group, whoever, anyone, we go to different mountain towns, and train and just train, hang out, train, see what can, like, what we can do, what challenges there are, because that's the fun of parkour, right? Everywhere you go, a new challenge, a new environment, and I want to go new places, and that, places that have maybe never seen parkour, and I want to train and see what I can do and see what there is to do, and I would love to make like a little series of that, or like a video series or something. So that's like project wise what I have in mind. I want it to be legit. That's the thing. It's like, right, I just have my phone. I have iMovie. Like, I'm the bottom when it comes to like content, right? Like, I just train and post stuff. That's it, right? So like, if I could get someone or people that could actually make this like really nice and legit, and like have like a new people in motion kind of video, like that'd be awesome. That's how I would like to do it. So that's why I haven't really done anything. Because it's like, if it could be this, I want it to be this, so maybe I gotta start reaching out to people or whatever. But that's what I would like to do. As far as moves or like training, um, gosh, I every once in a while I'll see, I'll watch a video or I'll see something and it's like, ooh, that's really cool, and I save it for someday when maybe I'll start playing around with it and see if I can get it, So that's kind of how I go about learning new stuff or working on new stuff. I goals, I don't know. I would, other than do parkour as long as I possibly can. I don't know if I have any other goals. And it's maybe just the way I train, right? I just like to go somewhere and do what I can do, or like I don't train where I have an idea of what I'm going to do already. Some people have a move in mind and they want to form a line around that move, and
True.
they need to go somewhere specific where they can do that, right? And like that's how some people train. And for me, I don't have anything in mind at all. And I just go somewhere,
Yeah.
I let what I'm seeing kind of show me what to do, I let the ideas come from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's how I like to train. So goal wise, I want to move as long as I can, and I will, and that means a lot. That means like inspiring people. I love traveling around and doing workshops, and I've judged at a lot of competitions, and I like that. Obviously, again, COVID, right? I was multiple times a year I'd have the opportunity to go teach a workshop somewhere or another, right? And COVID kind of stopped all that, but I'd love to be getting into that again, where I get to travel around and teach workshops, or even just, be a guest athlete or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'd love that. I would love to do that.
Do you know what? I don't know if I've noticed on your page, but have you competed? And if not, how come?
No, not at all. Number one, I personally I personally don't like competition. I don't do well with it. Like, I don't like the pressure. I don't like setting myself against someone. I don't like the idea of trying to be the best. I don't care about being the best. So obviously I'm not really driven in that area of trying to be the best, you know. Um, and really it's the pressure. Like most of my lines most of my lines do not happen first try. They take a lot of work, a lot of tries, and I'm lucky if I'm able to do it all flawlessly, you know? Even if
Yeah.
I've trained it really well, and you know, I wait to put the camera on it until I'm pretty confident I can do it, right? Because we all know the people that like they get an idea, hey, put the camera on it. Gosh, you're stuck for 30 minutes filming all their attempts until they finally get it, right? Like I'm not one of those people. I can do it. And like, you know, I wait till I know I can do it to put the camera on it. But my lines do not happen first try, so I can't imagine myself at a competition trying to do this line I came up with and hoping I get it, because what I see happening is like I mess up right away, you know, and like, well, there we go.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't want to put myself in that situation. I
Cool.
wouldn't do
That's respect.
pressure, you know. So, um, am I against competition? Not at all. I've seen how amazing it can be. Like it again, community wise, it really draws people in, and to see everyone cheering for each other and supporting each other. And I know a lot of athletes aren't in it to be better than, you know, their peers and the people around them. Like that's not like that. It is very personal still. But which is good. I'm really glad it's not competitive in that I have to be better than everyone else. I don't know and like too many athletes like that in parkour, you know, thankfully. I think that's cool. I think that's where parkour competitions are unique, where it is much more community based than like elite athletes have to be better than everyone else, you know. So yeah, I don't know. And now it's after my time. Like there's no way I could go into a competition now and like, you know, like I said, people are doing double cork pre's and like crazy stuff that's like, well, I can't
We
hold a
can
camera for that, you
we
know,
can
like
start a masters league for all the old guys, eh?
A masters. Yeah, that's
that'd be
right.
cool if there were age divisions in
Yeah.
parkour. Cool.
Exactly.
I think that could be something. It should be something, you know.
It will
Yeah,
be.
for sure.
Yeah.
It will be.
So the main thing is I personally don't have an interest in it, so I don't go that direction. So
No, I get it.
I've,
Thanks for explaining it. Go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say, I've been pretty like I've only done a couple things, but I've been fortunate in that they've been so like low key. It almost feels like you're just in a jam,
in a jam, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like
Mhm.
you kind of forget you're even competing.
And I appreciate that because like I said, I've judged it a lot, and I've felt that at pretty much every competition I've gone to. It's like you said, low key and chilling. It's like you're at a jam, and like I love that. I'm glad that a lot of parkour competitions are like that. Like, I haven't been to like Art of Motion or anything. I can't speak to what the
Yeah.
environment is like there. I'm sure it's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot more pressure, and like nervousness involved than like just a local
Yeah.
competition, whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
And yeah, your adrenaline's got to be going right from the hop on there, hey?
See,
Oh,
that is a form of adrenaline that I don't like. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
nervous like adrenaline at all. I don't like it. So
No,
yeah.
I'm the type of person too. As soon as there's a camera on me, I'm like just like 10% worse.
10% worse.
I'm the opposite
Oh
somehow,
yeah.
where the camera helps me. Uh, I joke around if I'm struggling with something. I joke around like, put the camera on it and I'll get it. Because like I don't know.
Oh,
It's like it's
gets you into gear.
Yeah, the
for the
performance.
shot. I don't know.
Mm,
It like
yeah.
helps me do that extra little bit of effort that I wasn't doing before somehow, so I can get it for the, because like I said, all like anything I film, I make into a video, you know. So I think for me, it's like, well, this would be an awesome line, and I want it to be in a video. So I think that to me, like putting the camera on it, like just helps me get it. So because then it's like, yay, it gets to be in my video now. You know, I don't know. But yeah, well, I would say most people have like the camera. It's like you, where it's like it makes it hard all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a weird person where it helps me somehow. So
Everyone has their thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So for current training, do you cross train at all? Are you into calisthenics or weight training or
No,
anything? Just
not at all.
parkour?
Well, I've only trained parkour, and that's all I do.
I love it.
Wicked.
Which is, yeah, could I be a better athlete? Probably, you know, probably. But I'm also interested in the idea of natural progression, you know. If all I do is parkour, like where will that take me, you know? Like what kind of body will I have, you know? So I'm interested in that. I'm interested in like if all I do is parkour, what, you know? So that's kind of how I've functioned. You know, but and as I get older, and like I was talking about earlier, some things kind of or will may have to change here and there. If I do have to start doing like some conditioning stuff to just for maintenance and like to just help my body, I'm down. You know, I'm down. Let's do it. I'm ready to embrace that. You know,
Love it.
but yeah, I've just trained. Well, you know, the Ukrainian dancing, I guess that was a form of working out.
Oh yeah.
When you're doing a whole dance in a squat position for 5 minutes, like, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing I'm not out there doing the like 15-foot jumps like other guys are. You know, I think it's my ankle. My standstill precision and everything is like really not. It's gone downhill, but I think it's just with my ankle and everything. Like I just don't have the explosiveness needed to do big precisions and whatnot, which is fine with me.
Yeah, you work around it.
I
Right?
do parkour anyway to the biggest jump I can find. No, that's not why I do parkour. So, yeah, but yeah, Ukrainian dancing, man, that'll get your legs in good shape for sure. All the squat stuff. Obviously gymnastics, good strong foundation there. Like, you know, yeah, I don't know.
You know, I got a question from I told people in our chat that we were gonna have you on the cast, and if there was any questions. And one question from Ryland asked, how has training in Colorado impacted your style?
My style.
And since Colorado is a hotspot for PK.
Yeah, excellent question. So yeah, I would say so. This is my second time being here. The first time I was here was for school, so I was here about like 2 years. My first time here, I was definitely exposed to a very different kind of parkour. In the Midwest, I knew the people that I knew. I trained the people I trained with, and we had a style, I suppose. It was definitely, I would say, like more flip oriented. And my early training was definitely much more like flip oriented, right? But what do you know? I come here to Colorado and it's much more techy and precise. And I'd say that definitely inspired me and like really reworked my mind in terms of like, what is parkour and what do I do with it, the people I met were Justin Harwood, Andre Kravitz, Russian Frog, I think he is on Instagram. Oleg, not Oleg Vorslav, that would have been Krishalovich was his last name. So these like OG guys, not even like the people you'd expect, like Dylan Baker or or Brandon Douglas, right? I didn't meet those guys till long after. It was really this kind of like underground OG scene in Denver that I met, and that those are the people I trained with. And yeah, much more like parkour oriented as opposed to like free running oriented. And it was hard for me. I couldn't do the jumps they were doing and like the techie stuff they were doing. I'm like, okay, I like this. This is good. This is a good area for me to grow in and progress. And then I'd say being over in the Middle East and meeting some of those athletes definitely again reworked my PK vision and my idea of parkour, and and I'd say they definitely inspired my movement and all that. So I would say like the style I have now is just this hodgepodge of different communities and environments and places and people. And then obviously what appeals to me, right? I would say because I've been watching YouTube my entire parkour life. Every morning I go to YouTube and watch the videos with coffee, right? So like what appeals to me movement wise and like obviously that has like shaped the direction that I take with parkour. Like, do you guys know the video Parkour Imaginatively?
I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Is that a bit of an older one now?
It is. It's a little older now. That I would say that was the most revolutionary video I'd ever seen.
Right on.
Especially at the time when I was first exposed to it, it blew my mind. It blew everything apart that I thought and knew about parkour, and that really set me, more than anything, that set me on my journey, my parkour journey, that has taken me to where I am today.
Awesome.
Parkour Imagine. So obviously you have parkour literally, right? That video. So it's a spin-off of that, which is why it's titled Parkour Imaginatively. And it's I'm pretty sure it's mostly like the German scene. It's like Endish and like those guys like way back when they were much younger. And I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let you look it up.
No,
'cause
I can't wait.
yeah.
Actually,
it is a huge video. If anyone asks me to reference a video or to point someone towards a video, it'll be that one, Parkour Imaginatively. That is the first video that I'll ever mention to anyone.
I
So
can't wait.
That'll be linked in the description for anyone interested.
so yep, my style, the people I've met, the communities I've been around, places I've been, it all has contributed to whatever my style is. So hands down. And yes, Colorado specifically really did take me away from flips and into a much more like parkour direction, I guess, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah.
Soft flow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I
What
guess
else do
the
we got
only
here?
other thing well, I mean, there's a couple more things, but do you
How much time do you
follow?
got? How much
Me?
more time do you got? Yeah.
Oh, I can go on all night.
Okay.
It's up to you
Okay.
guys.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, Tom. I apologize.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you follow any certain diet
Um,
for helping athletic performance, or just
I
whatever?
don't follow anything. I just try to eat healthy, right? And again, Taylor, she is the biggest reason. If I'm eating healthy, she's the biggest reason why. For sure. Again, she's a doctor, acupuncturist, Chinese medicine. It's thanks to her that I'm eating the way I am. And I've learned so much from her. Like I've never gone and looked up anything or researched anything because it's all changing every year anyway. And
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
person says, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," and another person's like, "No, that's the worst thing ever. Don't you dare do that to yourself." Like, so I just like stay away from it because I
I
don't
hate
know
when they
anything.
talk about coffee.
And that's the thing. I can rely on Taylor and trust what she has to say about stuff and go off of that. But from what I understand, eating a wide variety of things is really the best thing to do, and eating seasonally
Ayurveda.
makes sense. Goes right down to our DNA and our development as humans, hunter gatherer stuff. Right, eating seasonally, our bodies are made to So eat a wide variety of things, eat seasonally, obviously, go after what's healthy, but don't deny yourself a cookie, because like, come on, like you
Mental health.
need a cookie. It's good
yeah,
for you.
you got that
It's
right.
good for you. It's good for your mind. It's good for your emotions, your health. Like, come on, like, people who torture themselves and starve themselves, that you're doing the opposite of what you're trying to do. Like if obviously, if you're gonna eat a cookie and have an awful allergic reaction and what, like, no,
It's a
but
little
like,
different.
if you're just avoiding cookies because like you're supposed to, like, no, don't do that to yourself. Like, every once in a while, have something nice, have a donut. It's good for you. It really is. It's Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, Professor Lupin. Eat this chocolate, you'll feel better. Like, there you go. Oh, like, totally. So
I know there's like some like athletes now that are recommending after workout have a Snickers bar and like a bottle of Coke.
I don't know about
Yeah.
Coke. I don't think there's anything healthy about Coke, but
Something about getting sugar into your
yeah.
body, but
That was influenced by a popular podcast, but they were talking about this boxer that really works every day the same all the time, and the best thing to refuel is what you just said.
yeah,
So it
Yeah.
doesn't apply to
glycogen.
everyone, but everyone thinks they're a boxer.
And that's the thing too. Everyone is different. Everyone's body is different. What works for someone isn't going to work for someone else. No one has the right to go out there and say this is it. Keto diet or who knows what. Like, people are always trying to be like, this is it. Everyone should do this. No. It works for you. Yes, good job. I'm glad you found that. I'm glad it works for you. But come on, you cannot. Everyone is different. Everyone has a
agree.
different body. You cannot expect it to work for everyone, nor should everyone try it, like, do it. Everyone kind of has the responsibility to find what works for them, and who better to do that than themselves, because they understand who they are and how they work and how their bodies are. So,
Well
like,
said.
yeah.
There it is. There. The cat. I agree with that because when I changed my diet, I was really one-sided, and then it came to like me taking a couple of deep breaths during meditation and just being like, why am I forcing, like, no one can, why am I projecting everyone to be me?
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, am I that selfish that I want everyone to be like, that's just rude of me. Like, I don't expect them to change because I'm this way. Like, I just choose this way because it works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may not work for you, right? That's cool.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and
That's
it's good
awesome.
too. Thank God one thing doesn't work for everyone,
Right?
like, how
Boring.
how boring would the earth be? It's so good that everyone is so different and unique. Like, it's so good and it's important. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
we need
mhm.
need variation.
So yes, wide variety of food. There you go. Everything within reason and balance and all that. So yeah, there you go.
Cool. Well, I guess we can get into some maybe talking about parkour culture stuff a little bit here. The question I have is like, I can't speak right now. What is your favorite aspect of the parkour culture or your community
Hmm.
locally?
Mm.
I think I think it
It's a
comes
hard question.
No, it's good. It's good. I think it just comes down to the childlike wonder.
Hmm.
I don't think anyone who does parkour doesn't have that.
Yes.
It's that wanting to explore the world in a unique way. And when you do parkour, like, you're seeing challenges and lines and like this and that, and like how to interact with your environment, and like that's like a very raw, beautiful, innocent, like childlike wonder. And I think we can all relate on that note and that aspect, and I think that's what I appreciate about the community more than anything else, is that we all share that like deep childlike wonder, in regards to the world around us and how we want to interact with it. So yeah, there you go. I guess
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
there's a clear answer for once.
No, that's awesome. That's how I feel about it too. I just get right in that zone, and that's the kind of wavelength you want to be in, right? To be in that kind of meta. Is it meta? Brainwave? I can't remember. Theta? I can't remember. Childlike.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it's
is an
something. I
important
just made
aspect.
something up. I just made that up.
no, I'm sure.
If the parkour culture ever lost that, like fundamentally, it would be a different culture, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to even think of like how would parkour exist without it even, you know? Like is it possible? Like or would it crash and burn? I don't know.
Maybe a shot at gymnastics here, but then it would just become like gymnastics.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
becomes
Structured.
Where
very structured. Yeah.
I think where gymnastics went wrong was putting a cap on stuff, you know? You're not allowed to invent new moves. You're not allowed to try weird new things like you know, if you do this in your routine, like it doesn't earn you
Yeah.
anything, even if it's crazy impressive and hard, but gymnastics is like no, you know? I think if people are allowed to be creative and keep inventing new moves and like it's valid and like they can do it in their routines and it gets them points, I think gymnastics would not be declining. I think it would be growing, yeah, still, you know. But it's for some reason they decided to put this cap on it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's-
It's too bad. But that's why parkour is thriving, right? Because
Right.
there isn't a cap.
Yeah.
People are free to do whatever they want. And like that's why we're getting crazy, unimaginable things happening, you know, like I said, double cork prees and like Verky doing double con gainer and like people are doing like two-step wall gainer fulls now, like crazy stuff. Like as a gymnast, because I grew up in gymnastics, right? As a gymnast, I saw a wall front and I couldn't comprehend it. How on earth are you doing a front flip and not hitting the wall? I couldn't be comprehend it. So I can only imagine what gymnasts think of some of the stuff that's happening these days, you know? And like, you know, but then the stuff gymnasts are doing is absolutely insane. You watch like
Oh
a
yeah.
even bar routine or high bars or most of what they're doing, even the top parkour athletes in the world can't do.
Right.
You know, even like like especially old school gymnastics when it was like more creative, it seems like because there's so many weird moves and flips and release moves that are like illegal now in gymnastics, right? Or
Hmm.
like forbidden or who knows what.
Yeah.
It was way more creative back in the day, but you watch some of that stuff and you're like, yeah, like not there's not a single parkour athlete in the world right now that could go do that, you know? Like it's insane, you know? So I
That's true. They lose creativity points, but they take everything to its absolute peak.
yeah. Yeah, crazy like some of the release moves and like just the balance beam. Like my goodness, like doing full tumbling lines on a balance like oh my gosh, I can't
No,
even.
thank you.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like gymnastics is so incredible. Like it should be thriving. It really should, but they work. It's too corporate. Maybe I don't know. Like they just
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's stifled. It's stifled today. Like it shouldn't be.
Yeah. From like documentaries I've seen even like you said, like there's a point that you hit when it becomes about the competition. And then it becomes about hitting like the Olympics. And if you're not gonna, don't bother.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not, I can see why a lot of people is like, hey,
Like
bye.
there's too many people out. Well, and that's the thing too with gymnastics. It's like they're clubs, right? Like
Right.
you're either in the rec program or you're on team.
Right.
There's no like, hey, just go in there and do this to enjoy myself. Like, you know, I guess there's like open gyms and whatnot, but like it's not like there's adults in there playing around with gymnastics, really. It's like gymnastics is like for gymnasts, if there was a little more openness and freedom and maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Well, if there's any local people listening, kind of give a shout out to the gymnastics community here that has been pretty open to parkour over the years.
Oh, they really have.
It's gotten much better, dude. So when I was in Wisconsin, right, I told you I was coaching. we spent years going to different gymnastics places, rec centers, trying to pitch parkour and like, hey,
Right.
we would love to teach classes. How much we got turned around so much because like I said, way back then, there kind of was this like looking down on parkour from a gymnastics perspective, right? So we hit that wall over and over again, like, no, we're not gonna have that in here, like. But it is a lot better now, like, but that's what we did, right? We went to the gymnastics open gyms, and that's where we learned all of our new tricks. That's where I learned any of my wall tricks was going to the open gyms and like trying
Right.
to throw my parkour stuff. So like over the years they've definitely like come well, and now gymnastics is trying to take over parkour anyway. So
Yeah.
just so they're clearly like fully aware of it now, at least.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to see that transition of them denying parkour to then trying to take it.
Yeah, it is. It's a funny world. It's a funny world.
How the tables have turned.
Oh, this is turning out to be something. Let's monopolize.
Yeah. Let's monopolize it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to move on to some top fives here?
You
You got anything else, Christy?
I don't. I think we covered more than I expected, and thank you, because I really like the way this conversation went. And like I said, if we were on a different podcast or talking on like Instagram chat, I'm sure we would have a lot more in common. Just parkour.
Well, I come visit then. I just have to come visit. We can hang out.
Well, likewise, I know a path across the border, so
Oh, okay. I'll lose my passport for the occasion.
you don't need it. Okay, go ahead,
Okay,
Tom.
top fives here.
All right.
So we'll start with your top 5 athletes for people you like to watch or your inspirations.
Very mean to do that to me.
I know, like people have trouble narrowing this down.
Well, and the problem is there's so many good athletes. Like to
Yeah.
even single out a single one is just like not cool. And then there's hundreds of athletes I don't even know, and if I did, they would be a top 5 for me, right? So,
Very fair.
Mark Bush, any of those Ashigaru guys in Germany. Total man crush on the dude. Totally. I would love to train with him. I love him. I love his movement. Very creative. I watch all of his stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I love it. There's people you watch and like it's good parkour, but it doesn't like get your wheels turning, but like Mark Bush is one of those guys where it gets my wheels turning like all the time, constantly. So Mark Bush, I mean, to get some of the old school guys out of the way, Daniel Albaca was huge for me. Ryan Doyle was huge for me.
Yeah.
2012, Will Sutton was like the big name. He was huge. Levi Muhlenberg, like I mentioned, as far as America goes, huge. So yeah, like again, I could list all these names, but like, okay, so currently Mark Bush for sure. I love watching Ben Reddington. I love his movement, and maybe it's because over on that other side of the world, they have the architecture they have allows for like the kind of movement they do. I envy it. It's not really possible here. The stuff is so spread apart, right? Like so it's
Same
like
here, yeah.
you can't do the lines that they're doing, but I want to do those lines so bad, right? So I watch them instead, until I get the chance to go over there and maybe start trying to move the way they do. But yeah, so Ben Reddington, David Nelms, like hand in hand, they very similar style, very similar athlete, both mad powerhouses. Love they're athletes that like everything they do looks effortless, no matter how hard it is. And I like that. If you move and no matter what you do, it looks effortless, like I'm a fan. Like you're a big athlete for me. I love you. So
Oh, that's great.
Right on.
what is that? That's 3 people now. Gosh. I mean, you have to say Foskey, right? Foskey.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta say him. Not putting out content as much as he used to, but I know he's still doing it and everything. But yeah, anything he puts out, I'm super excited about. Can't wait to see. Min, do you guys know Min? Minh. Min.
No,
I don't.
Okay,
think
look
it
him up
pops up.
immediately. Min is huge for me. Huge. He's another athlete I would say that I was exposed to when I was. It changed my parkour direction. So he was
Really?
able to move my rudder with his movement.
Huh.
Yep, Minh, Min, for sure. Again, bigger athlete back in the day, still doing stuff today. Not as not as not like he was. Not as big. Which is fine. Eric Wolf is
Oh
another one.
yeah, I love. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that
Eric
guy.
Wolf, hands down. He a lot of people are always like comparing Eric Wolf and I. Although I think we have like very different styles. Like
I agree. Very different.
yeah, very very different styles. But I look up to him. I think he's
As
absolutely
well.
incredible.
Mhm.
He is in the music world, you have like a virtuoso, someone who can do whatever they want with their instrument, right? Like that
Yeah.
he in the parkour world is a virtuoso. He can do whatever he wants, it seems. And I love that. That's like ultimate mastery, right?
You just
Like,
gave
can
me
you make your
goosebumps.
body do what you want it to do? Yes, he can. So Eric Wolf, hands down, definitely. And then to bring one more person into it, Matthew Zhang stands out to me too. Definitely look him up. He's incredible. He's been an athlete for a long time. All of his movement is so tasty. And like you watch his videos and you're drooling because it's so good. It is so fluent and smooth and like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, like Matthew Zhang, definitely. And I've actually gotten to meet him too in person. 2015, I want to say. I got to hang out with them. We were on a tour. It was called the Inspire Tour. It was like this tour that went down the East Coast, all the way up like New York, all the way down to Miami and everything. He was on that, and I was on that, so that's where I got to meet him and train with him. And he's incredible. He's an intimidating guy, though. He's one of those people where he goes and does crazy stuff really easily, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's
I get it.
oh gosh, one more person.
Yeah.
I have to mention him because he's so unknown and he shouldn't be. Jahan Martinez in Texas. He is a lot like Matthew Zhang in that his movement is so fluid and smooth and dynamic and powerful. Like so much energy, but it's so refined, I guess. Yeah, so tons of energy and power that is refined so beautifully. Is a great way to describe him. But yeah, Jahan Martinez, definitely look him up. He's amazing. And he's been through a lot too. He's had some significant injuries that he's had to really persevere through and come back from. So yeah, very inspiring athlete in that regard. There's so many more names I could bring up.
Yeah.
No, like this is great. I like to have
Well,
every single one of them on the
I
podcast.
feel bad because it's like your name is definitely worth bringing up, but I can't just think of hundreds of names all of a
Oh,
sudden.
Oh no,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is great.
Like there are so many people that's why any person I think that tries to make like a top 10
It's
parkour
impossible.
athletes video, you're a fool.
Yeah.
You're a fool. Like don't do that. Don't try to do that. Don't do that to yourself. Everyone's gonna hate you.
No.
And obviously, like, there's so many people you don't know, and like there's so many athletes that aren't on media at all. But they're absolutely incredible athletes. I've had the pleasure of meeting a few of them where they have no they don't film, they have no media whatsoever. They're not on social media, but they are insane athletes, and they've only ever trained for themselves, and that's it. Like, and I
love it.
have such respect for that. That is so amazing to me, and I think that's super beautiful and amazing. Like, and for them to get as good as they are and still not have any kind of media is like, it's just amazing, you know. Kudos, like huge congrats to you. Like that's, you really love it if you're that good and you're not doing the media thing, you know. So yeah.
Well, shout out to them. That's awesome. I'm glad that there's people out there doing that.
Yes, yes. There definitely are. There definitely are.
Oh, Tom, can I do the last one? Oh no,
Yeah.
not yet. You got spots. I'm sorry.
Top 5 athletes. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
So
no, Tom has another one. I thought we were at the.
Yeah, okay, we'll do this one more top 5.
Okay.
Just your favorite, either places you have trained at or places you want to train.
Sure. Okay, in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, there is a fountain spot that is the largest, most sprawling parkour spot I've ever laid eyes on, that I've ever been to. I would say that is the most incredible parkour spot I've ever been to. And it's in Springfield, Missouri. I have it saved. So let me look. I should be able to give you like the name of the park or whatever it is. I save all of my parkour spots
I love it.
on Google Maps. So I have like hundreds and hundreds of spots. And like I go on Instagram too, right? I go on Instagram and like if someone puts the location of where they trained, I'll go to Google Maps and I'll save it, you know?
Good for you.
Just to try and keep all the spots.
Tom, what's that app?
Oh yeah, there's like an app for
Urban
parkour spots, right? Yeah.
Urban Runners. I'm on that. I'm
Oh,
all
it's
about
right
it.
on.
I actually did a review video for them. Urban Jumpers.
There you go.
Urban Jumpers, awesome. That every parkour athlete should have that app. It's a
Right
great
on.
way to document spots and like I love it too because you like upload pictures, right? So it's like you don't just have a spot saved. You upload pictures and like tags, and you can put like film like anything you film there. You can put so someone looks up the spot and like they can go see what people have been doing there. You know, it's like super cool. I love it. Urban Jumpers is app every parkour athlete should have. Okay, Founders Park, it's called.
Founders.
Founders Park in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. If you go on Google Maps and look it up, you should be able to see what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
How
Like
crazy
lots of
it is.
different
It is
levels and
insane. It's huge and sprawling and unbelievably amazing. So yeah, anyone who does parkour in the U.S. needs to go to that spot. It's you could camp there. You could set up a tent and camp there for weeks and still be overwhelmed with how amazing it is.
Colorado's turning into a mecca.
Yeah. So, okay, the Middle East. I absolutely loved being in the Middle East. I was in Jordan.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. I
Yeah.
didn't know if you're talking America or actually overseas.
Actual Middle East. Yep, I spent time in Jordan and I spent time in Israel, like right in Jerusalem. Man, so that was early though. That was 2012, I want to say. So like my parkour nowadays is very different than it was then, right? Very different. I would give anything to go back to the Middle East, like anywhere in the Middle East, really, because like the architecture is similar, right? But I would love to go back to Jordan or Jerusalem and train there now with how I am as an athlete now, because I would see everything so different. Like even then in 2012, it was mind blowing. Everything was amazing. And it's like, wow, this was made for parkour, right? But now, if I were to go now, oh my gosh, I would, I can't imagine how much fun I would have training in those places again. So good, so good. And it's one thing like when you go to a spot and like the movement you do there is like awe-inspiring, but when you're at a spot that is awe-inspiring and then you're doing awe-inspiring movement there, it's like it's really something, you know, it's really special. Honestly, it's like if you think about it in the parkour world, so those are some of the best, like biggest videos out there are just parkour that are put in these incredible amazing places, right? Because like there's just something about it, getting to move around and fantastic places on earth, you know, and like amazing cities. And well, that, you know, the art of motion, that's why in Greece there was such a big deal, because look at that city, Santorini, like, oh my God, parkour paradise there, right? You know, so it's like, it's anyone's dream to go somewhere spectacular and get to train, you know. So yes, we got Springfield, Missouri, we got Jordan, Israel. Here in Colorado, well, okay, so like I said, what I'd like to do is go new places I haven't been before to train, right? That's what satisfies me. So it's like in my mind, it's like, well, I do have a top 5, but they're all places I haven't been yet.
Yeah, that's what
I've
it's about too.
places I
Yeah.
don't know about. Like the next place I go is gonna be an amazing place, right? Like, so it's there's that. Ooh. I could say oh, I saw this spot in this video and it looks awesome, but I have no idea what the spot is called or where it is. So it's like that's not really helpful there. I'm not big into, well, I did go to Dom du Lac. That's like you know, there's people who have to go to all the like original parkour spots or all like the big like IMAX, right? IMAX
Right.
and I don't really feel like I want to, like I need to go there, you know? I don't know. Like it doesn't appeal to me like it would someone else, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I'm not really like the type of person that's like, oh, I want to go where like all the big spots are, right? Like I don't care, you know. Again, for me, like my satisfaction is in training is going somewhere weird and working with what's there, right? Like that's what really satisfies me. If I were to go to IMAX, I would be like, well, what can I do? Dom already did the Kong Country, like what could I possibly do here that's interesting, you know? Like, and it's that like staple challenge thing again. It's like, you know, at these spots that everyone in the world knows, it's like the crazy, insane things have been done there. So it's like, it would be intimidating to go to any of those spots, you know? And like, yeah, I'd flow around and have fun, and maybe I could do something that's interesting. But I again, maybe it's that like pressure, going to a spot like that. I don't do well with pressure. If I were to go there, I'd feel like, well, what can I bring to the table? And I don't do well when I'm feeling like that. If I am feeling like, what can I bring to the table? It usually doesn't work out, you know, or like it's that like it's like a self expectation that doesn't work well for me, you know.
I get it.
Yeah, you know, I just like to, what happens as opposed to like, ooh, I have to really outdo myself. I don't do well with that.
You know, when you were talking there, I had a whole vision of you at IMAX, and I think it set a new bar for what's possible. It doesn't have to be big.
Well, it's like I try not to think like that though.
No, but I know as a fan, and I'm really proud to say that I'm a fan of
No
yours, but I
doubt
could
I would.
see you moving in there and be like, of course you did that. Like now I can go to IMAX because you went there, and now, you know.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like I want that to be like a discovery, you know. I don't want to have that expectation or that anticipation. If I go somewhere, I want what happens to be what it is, and if it is pretty awesome and I was like, whoa, we've never seen that before, great, good job, like awesome. I'm glad I did bring something new to the table, but I'd never try to like place that pressure on myself or like that anticipation, because like it's just doesn't do well with me.
Well, hope my manifestation comes true.
Someday, like I said, I want to travel. I want to go to communities everywhere and athletes everywhere. I want to train with people. I want to train, like, that's what I want to do with my parkour life, is to go train with people. So I will get there. I will. Like I said, I did make it to Dom du Lac, and that was amazing. I loved it. It is kind of fun, I gotta say. It is kind of fun to go somewhere and try your hand at like some of the stuff that's been done there, you know. Obviously some stuff is like no way, I'm not gonna try that. But then there are there are some things that are like, okay, let's try my hand at this, see how it goes. It's fun, you know. I had Daniel Ilabaka. I tried out some of the stuff he did, you know, so like that was cool. That was a cool feeling to like, you know, I grew up watching one of my favorite movers at this spot, and now here I am, and you know,
Oh
like
yeah, right.
let's try out some of the stuff he was doing, you know. So that was fun. I liked that.
Oh,
I did the double Kong with the huge drop that he did. That was like sick, you know.
Nice.
All right, spots. What other spots? I'm trying to think in Denver, like a favorite spot. It's so hard. I like everything. I like everything, no matter where you be. I will love it and make like do
course.
make the best of it. I
How, would it help if I just asked, like, if there's a new person to parkour and they wanted to go train somewhere
Ooh, there you go.
locally?
Sure, I would take him to Golden. I would take him to Golden, Colorado. It's a mountain town, not quite like a mountain town because it is still in close proximity to Denver. But it is a mountain town. But like the city, the town, how it's made, there's a lot of like unnecessary features that are like perfect for parkour people, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the School of Mines is just loaded. Like every corner, every block is amazing stuff. Okay, I can think of a spot. The Water Gardens in Fort Worth. The Fort Worth Water Gardens in Texas. Another incredible, huge, sprawling, amazing spot. I loved being there. I would love to go there again. So there's another spot. But
Cool, right on.
Fort Worth
Sick.
Water Gardens. But yes, Golden, Colorado, School of Mines, anywhere in Golden is amazing. Great. Really, really like user friendly parkour stuff too. You know, like a lot of 90-degree angles and blocks, and like good walls. Everything's grippy and nice, and like there's nothing sketchy anywhere. And like it would be a great place. Actually, I'm teaching some private lessons right now, and that's where I'm teaching them. Like they want their I told them I want to if we can do it outside, I wanted us to
Right.
do it outside, and they're like, yes, we're down. And I'm like, all right, Golden is where we're gonna do it. We're gonna go to Golden and do our privates there, and that's exactly why. It's just like it's very user friendly, and it's I love it. So yeah, Golden, Colorado, and then right there's all these mountain towns.
Yeah, on the way.
Side,
Yeah, we'll have to
Durango,
see
there's
that
all these
series one day.
places that no one's been to train, and like who knows what if one of these random mountain towns is like the amazing parkour paradise, right? You don't know, so I
can't
want
wait
to
for
go. I
this
want to go
video.
and find them.
Yeah, now that it's been said on here, this that video series will have to happen. Manifest itself now.
Please, please get me an awesome film crew. That's the thing too. I would love to do something where I don't have to be concerned with filming and editing and doing everything. Like I would love to just be myself and do my thing. And there's people that are filming it and like they're gonna do an awesome job with it. That would be great. But
Well,
like when you are with your friends and
mhm.
you have to hand them the phone and they film you and then you film them, it's fun, it's good, it's how I've functioned this whole time, but it would be nice to just train and not even worry about if it's getting filmed or not. Well, like it is, and you know it is, but you don't have to worry about it. And
Yeah.
then you get all the nice B-roll and everything, like because that's hard too. It's hard to go out and like try to get B-roll for your videos. It's like it's not. It's
Yeah.
I
You need a dedicated person.
yeah, you need a film guy. You need a
Right.
guy who's behind the camera, and that's what he does. That's why, like, you know, all these like big teams have such awesome videos, right? Because they have those film guys. Like, the that's why you know Concrete Circus and some of these awesome other amazing videos are a thing because they had people to film it and they could just train and do their thing, and the awesome video came from it, right? Like, I would love that. So.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I might
Well,
know an
well.
editor if you want to shoot some stuff. I'll think about it. I'll send some stuff his way and see if he wants to take that project on. But I don't know about video, but if you the editing, Not you, Tom. Somebody
Right?
else.
Like, that's the
And
thing
they
too.
do, and they do parkour
I
too.
have iMovie. I can't do anything more. Do it, and I'm like, do I want to spend $400 on another editing software? I don't know. It's like, if I could train and someone else could make all the videos, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk off camera
They'll
about
be a
it.
better job than I will, and they'll make me look way cooler than I'm able to make myself look. So, yeah, that'd be a treat. That'd be a real treat.
Okay. Do you have something else, Tom?
No, I was just gonna say, do you want to finish this off with a last?
All right. So this is my favorite one. So if you were to give some advice, sage advice, to someone who's new to parkour, just starting out, or just advice in general, what would you say to them?
I would say, um, I would say do or pursue what resonates with you, as you start moving around, as you try out different moves, different things are going to stand out, things are going to resonate with you, things are going to feel good. Pursue that and let that blossom into whatever it will, like I said, like parkour is what you make it. Like everyone should have the freedom to come into parkour with a blank slate, and even like ignorance too. Like I think the more ignorant you are coming into parkour, the better, because then what turns into is going to be like super pure and amazing and like beautiful and like so yeah, like whatever is resonating with you, do that, pursue it, build it, grow it, and like don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what's popular. Don't get too caught up with Instagram and TikTok and all these things, and like the trends, it's like really be yourself and do what satisfies you. Even if that's like really simple, easy stuff. If you're right at home there and that's what you feel best doing, like there you go. Like you are taking your parkour journey to its limits, If you are getting that euphoric flow state, like you can't go any further, There's nowhere further to go than that. So
Oh, I love it. I
that's
love it.
what I would say.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I've been dying to ask you that question. I don't know if you could tell. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate connecting with you. And like I said, I'm a huge fan. Thank you for all those people I need to investigate into now and check out their
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad I was able to bring in some of that. But yeah, the first thing you should do when as soon as we get off here, parkour imaginatively, you have to, like, there's no putting that off.
Okay, okay. That's a challenge that's accepted.
I'm telling you, it revolutionized everything for me. It did. It 180'd my parkour life at the time. So still does. I watch it today and I'm like, pfft. So yeah.
I can't wait to
Awesome.
go out and night train now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're starting to get there now too, where it's nice out and like even at night it's warm and you can go train. I'm looking forward to that. I like that. It's so peaceful. It's very
Oh
peaceful,
yeah.
calming and meditative, and like it's night, so you're not gonna try to do all the big crazy stuff. You're just gonna flow around. I love it. I love that kind of training.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really different. It's challenging as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the perception and
Absolutely. I was just thinking that.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
proprioception and like how far is that? Is that what I think it is, or is it a little further? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Yeah, I like that challenge of night training for sure.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it has been an absolute blast talking to you. Like I can just see like parkour radiating off you, Like you can see your love for it. It's
Definitely.
really, really good and yeah, definitely good person I think for people to look up to in parkour. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for the opportunity. As you can tell, I love talking about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please come on again.
this
Yeah.
was very satisfying for me. So I love it.
Awesome. Well,
Yes.
when that video drops, we'll have you back on, and then we'll have like couple more hours to talk.
Good.
Yeah.
There's more questions. Bring it.
All right, well, sit tight, Luke. We're gonna have a fake goodbye, and then we'll talk off camera.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, bye.
All right, talk to everyone later. Bye.